Hey there, my name is Floyd Montague, and I'm here to tell you why you should buy an old car. You may think you need all the latest features when driving: electronic lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, automatic windshield wipers, and more. But I'm here to tell you that they all do nothing but take away from what should be a pure and fun experience that has been rendered lifeless by most new automakers. And I may sound like an old man, but you'll understand what I mean shortly. And when I say they all take away, I'm obviously exaggerating, but there is a method to my madness. All these new features that cars have today are exciting and a wonderful addition to the arsenal of features young and new drivers have when they finally get behind the wheel. But they can be a real detriment when someone wants to truly learn how to drive. With everything behind the wheel turning to the side of automation, cars are slowly losing life and becoming just machines that go fast occasionally. And in some cases, all of these cool and modern additions are things that can cause harm to drivers, as they are all computers, and just like humans, computers can make mistakes. According to driverlessguru.com, there are 2.88 million autonomous vehicle companies with a permit to test their technologies. Driverless cars are currently in the foreseeable future, and it's already a booming industry. Does that not scare you? Here's a solution to all of this computerized madness: older cars. They're more affordable, more fun, and provide a raw, real driving experience. And you can purchase one at the fraction of the price of a newer car. In this speech, I'll be telling you all the benefits of owning an older car as opposed to a newer car, including the driving experience, the cost effectiveness, and their sheer efficiency, as well as the dangers of fully computerized driving. My first point is just how much better it is to own an older car over a newer one. A very obvious point that classics have over their modern counterpoints is just the sheer amount of simplicity that they have. They aren't as exhaustingly complicated and hard to work on as newer cars, and they are far less confusing to drive. Classics keep things simple. No crazy computers that make everything go through it, and no obnoxious wiring setups, not to mention when one of those computers fails. Many older cars are also much smaller and lighter, which calls for better gas mileage and more involved driving experience. According to CarThrottle.com, the new Volkswagen Golf is nearly 2 feet larger in every direction than its first iteration from 35 years ago. This size increase is a result of newer and more modern safety features, but they result in vehicles becoming more heavy and bloated, lumbering around aimlessly. There are also endless amounts of driver aids in new cars that have literally turned driving into a chore. Most of these unnecessary driver aids get in the way of fully enjoying a vehicle and the driving experience that it provides. Because of this lack of help, it forces drivers to actually pay attention to what's going on behind the wheel and not to what's going on behind the lock screen on their phone. In an article on thedrive.com, Justin Hughes claims that the safety systems save drivers from their own inattentiveness, but may encourage them to be more inattentive. And the problem couldn't have been explained any better. New cars on the market can't be sold without some of these safety features, and the fact that they have become an essential part of driving starts to become an even more scary reality daily. Cars nowadays can literally drive themselves. And yes, that may sound like a good thing to those who don't enjoy having to pay attention while driving, but they're part of the problem that's killing over 35,000 people annually. Motor accidents are caused by inattentive driving, which is starting to be a learned trait for those whose first vehicle did most of the driving for them. And according to Forbes, just about every modern conventional car has level 2 autonomous driving. So that means just about every new driver is being taught how to drive by their car. Because of all these features, drivers begin to rely on computers to help navigate them everywhere. For instance, new drivers who rely on their blind spot monitors may no longer actually look behind them and check their blind spot when changing lanes, resulting in a crash that could have been easily avoided. Another issue is the degree of liability automakers have when it comes to autonomous vehicles. It is not Tesla's fault that you weren't looking while the car was on autopilot, but the 13 crashes since 2016 have proven that people don't seem to believe that notion. I could go on and on about the dangers of new vehicles and all the crutches it provides to new drivers, but there are even more benefits to older cars to discuss, such as their efficiency and affordability. Classic cars are very low maintenance. Servicing of these vehicles can literally be done at home with a YouTube video and some common house tools, and this is very far from the case with modern vehicles. With the sheer amount of programming and computers involved in a new car, You'd have to get factory diagnostic tests to even see what's wrong with it, and most of these computers and sensors end up having to be replaced, while almost all mechanical parts on an older car can be stripped down and rebuilt. Pricing is another issue with these newer cars. Vehicles of the past weren't loaded with features and creature comforts. That's why they were all sold for so little, and that still stands to this day. Newer cars are now an arm and a leg when it comes to pricing, and that can even be seen in a very bogged down standard economy cars. Classics nowadays can be sold for literally the fraction of the price that they were before and of any new car on the market today, and it'll probably run just as long too. In addition to the point about weight being down due to smaller size in these older vehicles, this is also a cause for them to have much better fuel efficiency than their newer counterparts, and it's literally because there's less car and less engine to have to move said car. In conclusion, you're now educated on why older cars are better to purchase than newer cars. I can attest to that as I've experienced many older cars, and because of my journey, I've learned so much about myself and my connection to cars. It was said best by Matt Farah on the Joe Rogan podcast. He says, "Find something that technology cannot make obsolete, and there is no amount of modern technology that can render a good classic obsolete." Thank you, and stay safe.